I've cut these cross members, you can really see how perfectly sized the Smitty built tent is for this trailer. This cross member misses the edge of the tub by millimeters, and everything is contained within the fenders here. So it couldn't be better. Now I'm gonna drill holes into the hinges so that the bolts that come with the cross member can slide, just slip right into the hinges, and I tighten them down, and then I'll throw the tent on top and secure the tent to this cross member. It's time to hoist the tent on top of the trailer, and before I did this, I emptied the tent of everything non-essential, not bolted down as part of it. So I removed the mattress, the ladder, the cover, a couple other things it was shipped with, and that actually cut the weight almost in half. So it went from like 118, I believe, to 76 pounds. So now I can lift it myself. It's still a little bit sketchy, but I can still do it. What it looks like with nothing in there. No mattress, no ladder, none of the stuff that's shipped with it. I need to figure out how to mount the awning on the back here, and I had bought some steel from a steel yard to try to figure out how to, so here's the awning. I bought some of that steel with the hopes that I could fit this tube inside this larger tube and have some way to telescope the awning up and down. I thought that might be useful. And it just didn't seem to work very well. The tubes don't really fit together very well. And so I came over here to the standing desk box. And like an indigenous hunter trying to use as much of the animal as possible, I rummaged around in here, and we have the legs on the bottom. Those are pretty heavy and fairly useless. We have two more legs, these are from the other desk. And then I came across these guys here. And these are the cross members that lay underneath the desk, and they can actually telescope back and forth to allow for a wider or narrower desk, or I guess longer or narrower, longer or shorter. And so I took one of those, and I had this aha moment, like that is exactly what I was looking for. So here's what it looks like out of the package. It basically has a kind of a crude mechanism here. It has these two screws that just provide friction up against this pole here. But I'm thinking, like, why not mount it against here, and then it telescopes up and down, and it actually happens to be more or less the same width as the other piece of the standing desk. No surprise, same gauge metal and everything. So I think aesthetically it'll look awesome. I'm pretty happy about that. Like, I'm using much of this desk, and I think it'll turn out great. So I just need to figure out how at this point to make a secure connection here, a secure weld. It's not a whole lot of surface area, and I can't put this pole on top of this one, the support, because the tent is very close. This is really wobbly, so I'm going to reinforce it with some angle. Oh, 100 times better. Just got to throw some paint on here and then go ahead and mount the awning and see how it looks. This awning isn't the biggest, but I loved it because it was exactly the same width as a trailer, and it does go back far enough to cover the kitchen while you're cooking. Finally, I'm done with all the fabrication, welding, and painting. That was about 80 to 100 hours to get here, which was just nuts. The very first thing I'm gonna start doing in terms of mounting and plumbing and wiring is getting this tank in here. And before I do that, I'm gonna get out a lot of the manufacturing debris that's still in there, and then I want to sanitize it. So I got this Star San, which is brewing sanitizer, because it actually disinfects. So I'm gonna throw this in there, swish it around a little bit, then drop the tank down into the trailer, strap it down, put on the fittings, then I'll start mounting everything else and then plumbing it into the water tank. Oh. I dropped that inside. It's gonna be really tough to get out. This is the outlet, which is a 1/2-inch barb. This is the breather vent, and on the top right, you'll see the main inlet. This is a 3 gallon per minute water pump, and the flow is just as good as your house. This is 1/2-inch tubing, and in combination with the barb fittings, this makes up almost all of the plumbing in the trailer. Surprisingly not very tight, but that's okay. You gotta be careful though. Probably won't be able to get it off here unless I cut it. You know, it definitely does not need a hose clamp. Well, I was moving too quickly today and just left off a couple pieces. Doesn't matter because I just have to cut some hose off of here and actually shorten it a little bit, so no problem. I'm gonna put the stop valve first and the filter second, even though I'd love to keep debris out of the stop valve. If I ever need to replace the filter while the tank is full, I don't wanna have to do that and lose water. So I'm gonna put this stop valve first, strainer second, and then it'll go into the pump. This splitter will take cold water directly to the faucet and to the water heater where it'll be heated, and then there'll be another splitter there which will go both to the shower and back to the faucet on the hot water side. This is a through-hole fitting for the diesel heater exhaust, and I'm making the exhaust port in the trailer a little bit far away from the heater so that there's enough room for 2 mufflers. But I regret doing this because these mufflers are so low quality that they actually leak pretty significantly. And I didn't realize this at the time, but I was getting a lot of exhaust that was escaping from these mufflers and from the exhaust pipe and getting sucked up into the clean air intake, into the heater, and then into the tent. So if I could do this again, I would just run the included tubes straight out the bottom of the trailer without any mufflers or fittings in the way. If you want to learn more about these incredibly efficient heaters, I recommend you check out the channel David McLucky on YouTube. Boom, that's a good fit. I'm pretty happy with that. Now it's time to make the single battery connection to this entire electrical box. Putting it facing this way so it can have a nice curve out of the box. And actually, before I connect any of these to the inverter, I want to use this resistor. You're supposed to do this because it charges the capacitor inside this resistor. And if you don't do that, there's a surge of electricity that comes from the battery and something can get damaged. I think it's the inverter. So let's keep going. This one is critical I don't cut too short because it's impossible to access the negative end under here. So I don't want to have to re-rivet, take out the inverter. So I'm going to make sure to leave a lot of slack in this one, just in case I ever have to move the battery. Each of these cells is 3.2 volts, and you connect them in series to give you nominally 12 volts. The total capacity here is 280 amp hours. So the great thing about a lithium system is this amount of capacity here, the usable capacity, is the equivalent of about 8 deep cycle golf cart batteries. And so you can use 80% of lithium. This is LiFePO4, lithium iron phosphate, versus lead acid. You can only use about 50% of that nominal capacity. So yeah, it was a pretty clean build. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. Throw the strap back on. I have the battery off here on my phone. So I'm gonna connect this resistor to that positive lug. Cool. Gonna go ahead and turn on discharge, and hopefully I don't fucking destroy anything. This waterproof box will hold the standing desk controls, and I need to make a hole here, and I don't have the right size hole saw, so I'm improvising with a welding tip. All right, just took a bunch of pushing, but or a bunch of cutting, I finally got it through. I'm just sanding the inside of the box here for preparation for epoxy. Let's hope these fit through okay. Yep. Gonna mix up some epoxy, set it on this plate here, and then jam it against that little mark. Provide a little slack here. I need to extend all of the standing desk motor cords so they can make it all the way down to the electrical box. Okay, I'm gonna cut this first one. I'm pretty nervous, to be honest. I'm going to use these little heat shrink soldering pieces I've never used before to join this 6-strand 18 gauge to this guy, which is probably like 22 gauge. I don't think I bought enough of this, unfortunately, so I have more coming tomorrow, but I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it. I've marked 3 inches up here because I'm gonna use this connector down in the control box. So I need to leave enough to work with. So here goes nothing. Wow. Wow, that's so cool. It's amazing. Try to get a close up. And now to protect it all, I'm just throwing some heat shrink over the top. So I'll basically stretch this across to there. This guy fits in to one of these ones on the bottom. And so just gonna connect. I feel pretty confident in that. I wouldn't stretch it or do a tug test on that. So folks had better unplug it by here, not by here. Protect it, make it look good. What does that mean? Fuck, what does that mean, man? Are these buttons depressed? I think I found the issue. I can almost guarantee that these two different controller sets that came in here do not correspond to these. I bet the power of one goes here, the controller for the other goes here, the height sensor for the other one here, and back and forth, which is why the best clue I got was that neither of them turned on unless both were plugged in. So that told me there's some sharing of wires occurring. My favorite kind of continuity test is it's pulling on the wire. So the yellow one from this wire, from this loom, this controller, pulls with here, so does the white one. When I pulled the black one, it came from this guy. So that's it. All I have to do is switch the blacks, and the reds are good as well. That's it. Just one wire was switched, and that messed the whole system up. That's so cool. I'm so happy that it finally works. I was so worried about that controller issue. Turned out it was a stupid mistake that was easily fixable with a little diagnostic. So super happy. This is the day before I leave to Seattle for a 2,000-mile maiden voyage, and then after that we're gonna go. We're gonna kind of finish up the rest of this trailer project and work on some other vehicles, and then head up to Canada. So hopefully, like, this doesn't break on the road. This is a huge test for it, and all I really wanted to do before I started on this trip up to Seattle was get the fridge working so I could eat decent food on the way, and get the standing desk working so I can keep it low while I'm driving and raise it up to pull out the jerry cans and access the fridge on the road. I'm running 3 sets of wires for each pole here. One of them is for the standing desk motors, the other is for dim lighting, and the third is probably eventually going to be for bright lighting. I just wanted to run that third one now, even without a clear use in mind, so that I never have to access these wire looms again. Having to switch over to speaker wire, which is also 100 feet, also 16 gauge, amazingly enough. You're not really supposed to use speaker wire for consistent loads, but for this lighting, that's pretty low amperage. I feel okay about that. This is by far the most audacious wire looming job I've ever done, and I think I have a plan, but time will tell whether it works. So what I'm doing is basically starting as high upstream as possible, getting all those components done, and then going one level down and doing those. So I essentially, all of these final 3 wire areas, I've put a section that will lead them until they meet with another section. So I have 4 on there now. Then I think the next one will be where these 2 meet. There needs to be a wire loom that goes down here until they meet with this one, right? And so that will bridge this section. And then where those 3 meet, then there'll be another wire loom carrying the 3 of them. And then finally, when they meet the 4th one there, that'll be all 4 in a final wire loom. Oh. I know it looks unprofessional, but it's so hard in the strenuous heat to keep my shirt on and pay attention to filming and get the work done. So one thing had to give. I also don't want to sugarcoat it. Taking on a project like this is a ton of work. It's a lot of fun as well, but you'll find yourself in marathon sessions like this where you're wondering what on earth you're doing. Working on this same loom right here for over an hour, just wrestling it over this extremely constrained piece. And God, it's brutal on the hands. I wish I just had a bigger loom. It's unnecessary. But I just have this loom and I want this project done so I can hit the road. And it's about 12:30 in the morning right now. I've been working on this since about 9 or 10 in the morning with a couple little breaks here and there, but just to pack really. That wire loom I just spent the last hour getting those wires into, now that entire bundle has to go in there as well. So good luck to me. Yes. Yes. I'm on the home stretch.
Hello. Oh, look at those big strong paws. Oh, who's a good boy?
Right before I hit the road, I placed this order to Tap Plastics in Seattle. This is the Countertop, and so it's going to be made out of HDPE, which is cutting board material, but it'll be UV resistant. And I just mocked this up in PowerPoint. I took the best measurements I could, and I sent it over to them, and fingers crossed the fitment is good. I love this moving blanket, $5.
That's nice.
Badass. Mm-hmm. All right. HDPE is flexible though, so you need supports to keep it from sagging.
All right, it's coming down. With the tool, yep. Good. Wow, way to go. That's a very good cut.
Cool.
Go barking. Go barking. Good boy. Give me a beer. Give me a beer. Good boy. Thank you. Now I'm moving to the intake. So this is the combustion air intake, and it's this sort of foil and paper tube. Very easy to cut with a razor blade. And this is a baffle system. It's meant to be somewhat of a muffler to keep the noise down a little bit. There's a cheap mesh in here as well to keep leaves and bugs out of the combustion chamber. So I'm just gonna secure this on there, and then I'm gonna plumb it into the diesel and then wire it up, and I should be able to fire it up tonight. For the diesel tank that I got in my heater, it came with this system to basically tap off from the bottom, which is, it's gravity fed, and I don't love it because if this leaks, you're getting diesel all over the trailer. What I like better is this system, which some kits come with, some don't. It's give or take. So I bought this one separately. It was pretty cheap. It must have been like $12 to $15. This is a pickup tube, so it basically will use the suction of the pump to bring it up and over. That's it. Look at that. Pretty good. Yep. My kit came with this hard hose, which is good. Which is good because it transfers the pressure a little bit better. It doesn't absorb it as much, but I'm gonna wrap it in this flexible hose of a larger diameter simply to prevent it from getting abraded. So first step comes with this rubber joining tube. I just cut a little section off here, and I'm gonna stick this underneath on the heater itself. I've jammed the fuel pump into this flexible foam. I believe it's to insulate pipes. I'm going to then suspend it with this, which is an onion bag. So the vibrations, these things are known to tick. That's how they operate. They have pulses with a electromagnetic piston. And so that tapping will be very loud, reverberating through the trailer. There we go. There we go. Okay. Works. Careful. Oh yeah. It smells. Yeah, that's probably enough. You know, it doesn't
Mouth pipetting.
Well, should I go a little bit more?
No.
No.
I gotta get some spray. I gotta change my shirt too.
There it is. Just perfect timing, man. All right. So how do you do the priming? Yep.
Hold, press and hold. Okay, now press up.
That thing makes some noise. Wait, and then do you see it coming through here? Oh yeah, it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just.
And then how do I turn it off?
Maybe I don't know. I didn't watch that part.
Cool. All right. So that's. Yeah, it's saying you don't want to like overfill the heater.
You don't
I think that's
want
good
to.
enough. So that's good enough. So let's just turn it on now, right?
Yeah.
So, what do I do? Hit like OK. Now power on.
I have no idea about your controller, man. Your controller's.
All right. I think it's on. Let's just let the glow plug warm up.
Yeah, let's try it.
Hopefully nothing's like melting itself, but I definitely see some smoke. Oh, you know what? This is probably also like curing as well. This exhaust wrap.
Yeah.
It's gonna blow.
Are we clear?
Yep, we're clear. That's probably good enough. That's good enough, man. Nice work. There's a lot going on. Like creatures running around. Thanks.
Let's turn the lights out.
This is exhaust wrap, which motorcyclists sometimes use, and it's to protect the HDPE tank. But everything kept leaking, so I took it all apart and realized the relief cuts I made in the pipe in order to fit it over the muffler was the cause of a lot of the troubles. So I got this pipe expander here. It did work, but the problem remained that the mufflers simply leak.
So I'll leave a little
There's
bit
no
of
way
gap
around
for
it,
braising,
and
right?
I then tried my hand
think
at
so.
brazing.
I don't think
I've
I'm
never
supposed to.
brazed
Okay.
before. It was all a colossal waste of time.
Try it.
And the best solution is just to straight pipe it out the trailer. The sink is stainless steel, and my drill bits couldn't get through it, so instead I'm using side brackets.
Wow.
Ain't that nice?
Cool. That
Now
was
you
actually
work
really
here
nice.
and you go like this.
Yeah, that's really nice.
We don't have the supports in yet, and you can see just how much this HDPE counter is flexing, even with no weight on it.
Because the rib nut's going through this?
Yep.
Okay.
I think that's right. Jeez. Who knew that this like metal rated Milwaukee bit would take forever to get through plastic? All right, so I'm gonna put the cold at the back of the trailer to make it easier to access. And this thing can rotate any which way we want. So we'll leave it like this for now. And drop a washer on each. No ugly seams to hide, all right. Let's bring that up through here. Drop another washer. Contacts that just barely, but I think it's okay. Yeah. What about during taxiing? Look at that, totally protected. Now this is a 7-watt light. It's landscaping, so it's waterproof, and it's also very warm in hue, so it'll be nice at night. So this will illuminate the storage area so that you can reach in and see what you're doing. And I think ideally I get rid of this bracket and mount these guys here. I'm prioritizing speed over weight, so these are heavy. It's definitely adding collectively 3 to 5 pounds to the trailer across the 7 of these, but just need to move this project along quickly so I can start enjoying it this summer. This can just freaking flop anywhere, but whatever. This is a splitter coming out of the output, so this will be the hot water coming out of the hot water heater. This one will go to the shower, which I'll probably leave off all the time unless I'm using it. This one will go to the sink, which I'll probably leave open because as I'm driving, I'll use the main shutoff for the water to the pump from the tank, and so this will be far enough downstream that I don't need to turn it off. I'm connecting the shower head that came with the water heater, but the way it's designed isn't easy to turn the water on and off repeatedly. Then I realized that a garden hose sprayer would be ideal, which you'll see us use later on. This is a 3-inch dryer duct hose made from PVC. Do not repeat this mistake. The heater melts this plastic and the fumes are really toxic. Only use metal. That's a nice knife.
This side goes first.
I'm making this lighting wiring detachable so that the countertop can be removed without having to snip anything.
Have you reduced the pressure from the hose? Wow.
The line. We'll come back here, and that's the first stop valve. Open that. And it comes into, where does it come into? Comes into here, leaves through here, leaves through there, comes up to here, and then it either goes to the water tank or to the cold water. I think we leave the water, oh, this is the water tank up here. Let's leave that one off for now because we don't have any propane. So let's simply open this guy. So that is the directly to the faucet. And now let's open. We don't know what's open and closed.
Right, we don't know which one's which.
So we're gonna start like that and hope that's open.
Oh god. That's fast.
Yeah, let it run for a bit. That was fast. I expected a lot of. Wow, it really aerates it. Wow. Look at that clean, fresh water with no suds in it.
There may also be soap in this container.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right, so stop that. Uh-oh.
Releasing some
Yeah,
of
it's
the-
releasing pressure somewhere. You can hear it hissing
I
somewhere.
know. I was like, I don't.
Yeah, no, good call. Leave it open. So we- Let's try this guy. Wow.
Goes pretty low. That's low.
Yeah,
That's high.
that's pretty warm.
Mm-hmm.
The high pit feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's turn these all off. And now let's try the water heater. So I think the water pressure's on. So hold up just a sec. Yeah, all she's gonna have to do is turn that on, but hold up. Not yet. Okay, turn it on. Oh, you know what? I have this thing closed, so let's turn that on. Go ahead. And just leave it on. Actually, turn it off. That's not getting warm, so there's something going on. Water heater is not staying lit, and so we've taken it apart here. It's pretty simple to take apart, and we noticed that these igniters are not as close as they could be to those, I don't know, receptors. So we're gonna try to bend these, and the manual is great. It's super detailed, and it suggests looking at this. So try to bend those straight and see if it'll stay on.
Sounds pretty good.
Pretty good. All right, I'm gonna pull this out. Can you show the hole underneath? Just go straight to that. Yeah, just kind of like there. Yeah. Great. You can basically adjust the light there, and that's pretty slick. And then I do have plans to attach some brighter lights, but the ones I have right now don't have the right mounts. But I do want ones that will kind of flood the camp. They'll be aimed outward. Jeez, that was a hard one.
Okay.
All right, cool. So it can face the Samurai, tow vehicle, and it can face forward and illuminate the trailer. How cool is that? Dual purpose. Give me a minute. Jeez, that's kind of loud. I know how to fix it. All right. There you go.